Every single year, Activision finds a new way to get the players that hated the previous game to buy the new one, without fail. Don't believe me? Watch this. Every single COD that is released in the last 6 years has a bait and switch scheme, or rather, something that entices longtime players and then screws them because the game evidently is built to retain casuals and breed as much sales as possible, and it's not actually meant to satisfy longtime passionate players of the franchise. Bait and switch. Modern Warfare 2019. The bait? The name. The fact that it's a reboot of a super iconic game. Advertised as the next generation of COD. The early access for pre-orders. The switch? The game is a casual catering machine and clearly the start of their new methodology to make as much money as possible in the next generation of gaming. eomm. Terrible maps. Terrible meta. Claymores. Game just doesn't feel like COD. It scares away a lot of longtime players because the game allowed bad players to camp in safe spaces and get the unbeatable edge. Then Cold War comes along. The bait? It has the Black Ops name. Treyarch made it. It can't possibly be like Modern Warfare 2019, right? You get early access for the pre-orders so people buy it. The switch? Well, still got eomm, super sweaty matches, extremely slow progression, subpar maps. Clearly things are in place to breed microtransactions and protect casuals. The game doesn't feel genuine. Alright, well, now it's Vanguard. The bait? Well, it's the same engine as Modern Warfare 2019, which was clearly one of their best. Has the World War II setting, which clearly baited people back to the game because it hadn't been in that era for a while. It had an early access test to anyone who pre-orders. Maybe this is a time when the Modern Warfare 2019 engine reaches its potential. And the switch? It's the worst COD to date with bad matchmaking and just as terrible maps and match flow as Modern Warfare 2019. And it perpetuates the horrendously aggravating camping epidemic. What's after that? Oh yeah! Modern Warfare 2, the sequel to a game that had a lot of potential and popularity, especially because of the smoothness of the gunplay and movement. The bait? On the surface, it looks like it's gonna be what Modern Warfare 2019 was supposed to be, but never was. Advertised to be the next generation of COD. The $100 Vault Edition, which should have been a red flag on its own. It's the best-selling COD title because everyone thinks it's going to be what Modern Warfare 2019 should have been and save the franchise. The switch? It's the ultimate casual catering machine. Suffocated skill ceiling, no red dots in the minimap, horrible clunky movement, visual recoil, slow weapon handling, tactical slow-paced gameplay, Santa Sena border crossing, need I say more? Either way, if there's one COD game that scared away longtime COD lovers, it was Modern Warfare 2. It was absolute garbage and the worst game in the series. Now Modern Warfare 3 rolls around. The bait? Well, we changed everything you guys hated in Modern Warfare 2. Movement is back, weapons are fast again, no annoying visual recoil, classic remastered maps. Clearly we're desperate for sales here. The switch? Well, the worst matchmaking in any game ever. $30 bundles. The increased skill ceiling barely matters because every match is so competitive it'll make your head spin. And the game is literally a DLC marketed as a full title. Every single modern COD title has some kind of a bait and switch to draw longtime fans in, only to disappoint them because the game is heavily built with greed and money-making strategies, and the game is meant to keep casuals playing so that they spend money. The actual gameplay has no integrity. Everything is rigged. And XDefiant now is succeeding in capitalizing on the fact that people are aware of it and they hate it. So now COD has no choice. If they bait now, they can't switch, or else the franchise fails to take in longtime fans who switch to XDefiant. If COD plays their cards right and just doesn't toss the ultra-casual players who can't walk and chew gum at the same time into sweat lobbies, but still tone down the matchmaking, it's going to give XDefiant a run for its money. Remember when I said that COD was scared of XDefiant and how they clearly rushed to put out the Black Ops 6 teaser one day after XDefiant's release, along with changing the IP from Black Ops Gulf War, which basically leaked everywhere confirming it, to Black Ops 6 in an obvious attempt to nostalgia bait? Well, it doesn't stop there. Apparently there are rumors going around that suggest that perhaps this isn't the only thing Call of Duty is doing to compete with XDefiant. Besides changing the working title of the next COD game from Gulf War, which is what it was going to be called, and it's where the game is set, to Black Ops 6, even though technically there was no Black Ops 5, even though it was Cold War, I guess, Call of Duty might actually be going one step further in their move to compete with their newest competition. Actually, to be fair, their only decent competition in basically the entire lifespan of the franchise. No other game has been quite so similar to COD and as big as XDefiant. Call of Duty is rumored to be toning down their skill-based matchmaking, or in other words, toning down the skill measurement within their whole eomm algorithm. Now here's the thing. The reasons for them switching up the name to Black Ops 6 and perhaps changing how the matchmaking works are pretty reasonable. As the market changes and customers show what they support, you certainly have to adjust your practices to align with what the consumers are looking for. In the case of COD, more and more consumers are starting to wake up about COD's clearly manipulative matchmaking algorithm and how far the game's practices have fallen to greed. In my observation, a lot of diehard COD players are clearly unsatisfied with the game. Seasoned professionals, YouTubers who are outspoken, guys who have been playing the franchise for years. It even goes as far as the fact that every single COD veteran who comments on my channel has agreed with me. I haven't ever had a single veteran player who's a longtime fan of the series, who has seen the franchise in all of its glory, disagree with one of my takes. So the question for Activision becomes, how are they going to win over the disgruntled and aggravated longtime fans who had a point of reference to watch the franchise decline, i.e. the golden age of COD? Well, it's going to be by adjusting their matchmaking and publicly advertising it. How else would they take back players that went to XDefiant strictly because of the lack of skill-based matchmaking? They have to do something, somehow, with their matchmaking to make it appealing enough to the players that were aggravated with it before. In fact, I think there is absolutely no world where COD doesn't announce something or make something big about the matchmaking changing somehow. Think about it. If they don't, they're just shooting themselves in the foot. They're allowing XDefiant to steal so many players because of the vast difference in the matchmaking. Again, I just see no world where nothing changes at all. They would just be allowing the loss of unfathomable amounts of money on players not dropping $70 in the game in the first place. Now, even with my logic, with no real evidence that they're actually considering backing this up, we actually have gotten some alleged leaks that they are considering changing how the matchmaking works. Now, they are alleged because I can't seem to find any of it, and it seems to be this weird word-of-mouth information going around the community, but somewhere there have been alleged leaks that changes will happen. Now, the key word is, again, alleged. It's not guaranteed, and you shouldn't get your hopes up. Heck, even if they say that they toned it way down, don't pre-order the game. Wait until it's out and read the dang reviews. And then if it's actually as good as XDefiant's matchmaking, then you buy it. Despite there only being rumors, though, it only seems logical that since Black Ops 6 clearly changed from the original name, Black Ops Gulf War, to continuing the numbering in the Black Ops series and adding the classic black and orange aesthetic, and timed the teaser and announcement to directly interfere with the hype surrounding XDefiant's release, they're clearly trying to compete with XDefiant and snuff them out as competition. And the next logical step is to do what your competition does, but better. XDefiant has better matchmaking, so what is COD going to do about that? Well, it only seems logical that they're going to somehow change it. It also seems to line up with potential rumors as well, and those two things going hand in hand create a decently logical case. Not to mention that the skill white paper for Call of Duty's matchmaking is coming out, and they have a chance to display what they're changing for the upcoming game, rather than trying to gaslight us into thinking the atrocious system that they have now is actually good. I just think it's pretty convenient timing to talk about the skill measurement in their eomm once they already plan on making some changes because of XDefiant. If Black Ops 6 fails, XDefiant wins until the next COD title, and they certainly can't have that. I'm willing to bet that on June 9th, when they really talk about the game in depth and all its features, they'll make some kind of announcement detailing the adjustments to their matchmaking. If they do, it's going to be a real upset for XDefiant's release and their plans moving forward. But hey, maybe I'm wrong and they won't change it at all. It certainly wouldn't surprise me if Activision didn't do what would make players happy. After all, they've been doing that for 6 years, so I'm not going to be too surprised. But part of me is just willing to bet that something is going to happen to disrupt XDefiant, and I believe it's going to be surrounding Call of Duty's matchmaking. Think about it. Bait and switch every year. Oh, come buy this game. It has stuff you're gonna like. It has cool nostalgic stuff like maps in the same name as your favorite games. Ooh. That's just to get players who care about the franchise to buy the game. Everything else is just to addict the casuals and get them to spend money. But if they bait this time, they can't switch. We're done falling for that. The only bait they can pull is saying that they changed the matchmaking. That's literally it. And of course, the nostalgia bait of the classic Black Ops aesthetic. But at the end of the day, we'll have to wait. But this is potentially going to be one of the most exciting things to happen in the Call of Duty space for years at this point. XDefiant flipped everything upside down, and it is really fun to watch and fun to play. But that's all I got for now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm Prime Pete. Take it easy.